Welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us today. I'm Dr. Marshall Kamena. On our last episode, we talked about the entry programs for men at Santa Rita Jail. Today, we'll discuss re-entry programs for women at the jail. My guests today are Sergeant Priscilla Silva, Re-entry and Support Services, Melanie Fukuhara, Principal, 5 Keys, and Commander James Jimmy McGrail, Detention and Corrections Division Commander. Commander McGrail, thank you so much for being here. I know how busy a person you are, and I think our audience will appreciate it as well. Would you tell us about some of the historical challenges of the programming for women at Santa Rita and the adoption of mixed classification programs to overcome these obstacles?
Yeah, well, thank you for having us. We're glad to be here. So our female population has always been pretty low at Santa Rita Jail. And traditionally, our females, they don't stay for extended period of times. So within different classifications under that model, we had a hard time getting females into programs because we could only, if we used the traditional classification model, only get 2 or 3 into the program at one time. So Sergeant Silva brought the idea to us to mix our classifications. So she's went out and talked with females and got them to agree to go to programs that within different classes, and it's been very successful.
Wonderful. And now might you introduce this next guest?
And now I'll introduce Sergeant Priscilla Silva with Santa Rita Jail's re-entry team. So if you could talk about our Juilliard program and the success we've had with Airmark.
Perfect. So at the beginning of the year, we took a survey of our female population of what they would like to see and what they would like to be involved in with programming. And one of them involved music and arts. And we partnered with 5 Keys School and brought Juilliard School of Music to Santa Rita Jail. And since the beginning of the year, they've been here 4 times already for 5-day residencies and 9-week programs where they're offering our females a therapeutic way of learning music, composing music, learning about music notes. And they've been able to compose their own music, have a performance, and get a copy of the recorded performance and their music that they've been able to compose and have played by the Juilliard musicians, which has been phenomenal. A part of the program too is very therapeutic, where they get to dive into some of their trauma and their personal life experience and write songs that means something to them or speaks to them, and then able to produce wonderful pieces of art that we've all been exposed to and we've been able to share with the community. One of the other programs or interests that they had was something involving food service or food certification. So we contract with Airmark Food Company already at Santa Rita Jail, and I decided to reach out to them to see if they had a program where we could get the females certified. So they introduced me with the 6-week program where the females can take a 6-week class and they take a test where they're able to get their Serve Safe food certification. And if they decide to extend it and really challenge themselves, they would be offered a management certificate program, which was an additional 2 weeks. Thanks to the commander and the command staff, they approved these females to come together in a mixed classification class, meaning we were able to have more females participate and have the opportunity to receive these certifications. All of the females that completed, which were 26, all completed with an 80% or higher in their food management certificate. So they excelled what we expected of the basic 6-week, but they all decided to take the management certification, and they all received it with an 80% or higher. What does that mean for them? When they leave, this is a part of reentry and support services and what the command staff has driven throughout the base. We want to offer services for people that are in our custody when they are released. What can we do for them so that they do not come back? And one of my responsibilities of offering educational, vocational, or certification programs is to make sure that they are offered these opportunities while in jail and they can take their certifications and training and experience and apply it outside in the real world. So for Airmark in particular, upon their release, Airmark will provide them an internship, scholarship opportunities, and job placement immediately all over the Bay Area, and even outside Alameda County, where Airmark has, obviously, different stations, different businesses, sporting events, and so for them, having a job is one of those most vital keys of succeeding after being incarcerated and re-entering the community. It is a job, they need it, and we want to provide all the education and programs we can to help certify and prepare them to get a job.
Isn't this in direct accord with Sheriff Sanchez's obligations and intentions and getting people back to normal?
Absolutely. And we need to provide something for people to do while incarcerated and give them an opportunity to better themselves. And these programs are that. And taking these certificates now to be able to go out and have a company that they already can apply to and make a livable wage when they get out. So it helps us inside Santa Rita Jail, because when they're busy going to class or educating themselves or doing something, they're not sitting, there's not idle time and doing things that we don't want them to do. And then it's helping them, you know, it's amazing to watch when they better themselves, how more confidence they get, and then hopefully when they leave, they continue with that confidence and stay motivated to work and not come back.
I think it's common knowledge that those people leave with self-esteem they haven't had for a while.
That was very true. During the Juilliard, I mean, we had people getting up and singing in front of a bunch of people they didn't know, and it was a pretty amazing program with Juilliard.
Well, Commander, thank you so much for enlightening us. This is wonderful information. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we'll talk more about this subject with Sergeant Silva and Commander McGrail. Welcome back. We've been talking about the importance of re-entry programs for women at the Santa Rita Jail. Sergeant Silva, before the break, we were talking about some of the re-entry programs you have for women at Santa Rita. Can you give us some more detail about how you collaborate with others?
Absolutely. So as I've said, with the Airmark, we already contracted with them on base. So to reach out to them, we are great partners with them, and for them to come up with a program that we could help assist the females, especially when they've shared some interest in the food certification. We also have 5 Keys School on base that we contract with, and they have a lot of connections with community-based organizations. One of the community-based organizations that they know and work with is a program called Freedom Breeders. And those are a group of women, some of them with lived experience and some with not, who have decided to come and create a program where they teach women on how to braid hair in several different ways. A part of the program is also therapeutic in the fact that they do journal entries, and they are able to talk about their lives, how they've came to be, how they've gotten where they have in their life, and then seek mentorship from some of the instructors on how they can succeed outside once they are released from jail. So once they've been able to learn these skills, and then in addition take advantage of some of the educational classes we have, such as entrepreneurship, these women are set to go outside of Santa Rita upon release and have a complete course of entrepreneurship on how to build a business of their own and how to make a business of their own, how to market, how to promote themselves, as well as learning a skill that they have learned within Santa Rita Jail with a 6-week program with our Freedom Breeders.
And what about with Chabot? What's our relationship with Chabot and 5 Keys? And
So Chabot College is another educational institution that we partner with at Santa Rita Jail, and they offer several classes throughout the year. One of them includes entrepreneurship and English and other classes that some of these incarcerated population need, such as substance abuse, anger management, parenting, all to help them complete these courses, get their education, and go out with some of the skills that they've learned to apply.
And what Sergeant Silva has done is she created a area in the jail where if the females were, well, you can explain, what is our programming pod?
So once we pretty much got through half of the year and we were able to successfully show that we were able to mix classifications and have females have the same focus of being involved in programs and education and vocational opportunities, and we saw that they were able to get along and very focused on attending programming and classes throughout their entire day, we decided to build a female programming pod. And what that means is these females have the same goal and the same focus every day while they're incarcerated. They abide by all the rules within the jail. They set the tone and be example of behavior and cleanliness. And in addition, they have to go to programming every day and be completely fully engaged. We offer them an opportunity to be together because they have the same goal. And unfortunately, with some of people coming into the jail, they have substance abuse problems that often get carried into the jail and possibly could be influencing some of these females who have done a lot of work and commitment to their education, to their experience to get them out and get them to succeed. And we did not want them to be exposed to some of the female inmates coming in that did not have that as their focus and objective.
Yeah,
And
I understand.
so once we were able to get them in a pod, immediately they shared how safe they felt, how supported they felt, and basically that you are living with people with the same goal and objective every day while they're incarcerated, to keep them away from getting involved in some of the things that the commander has says that sometimes happens when you're at the jail, whether it's getting into a fight, whether it's using drugs or having any weapons of any sort. We wanted to keep them away from that and protect them because we saw that they were committed to programming and doing the best that they could to rehabilitate and involve themselves in programs and education that could help them.
Well, Commander McGrail, what other information can you provide about the program and its impact?
Well, we need to continually increase programming at the jail. You know, people incarcerated, they need structure and they need something to do during the days. And we're seeing continued success by providing things to do. And resources are limited. And our staff, you know, we only have so much staff to facilitate this. So we need continued partnerships with our community-based organizations, with 5 Keys, with Chabot colleges. We need people that want to come into our facility and help out the incarcerated population. And as we build them out, I think we're going to really see success in lowering our recidivism rate, you know, and we're going to provide a better atmosphere inside that jail for not only the inmates in the jail, but for, you know, the deputies and the clinicians and medical staff that are there.
Yes. Well, this has been very informative. Rehabilitation and collaboration for the women at Santa Rita Jail is so important. Thank you for taking the time to talk with us today, and I appreciate it so very much.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
We're going to take a short break. We'll be back in just a moment. Welcome back. Now we're being joined by Melanie Fukuhara from 5 Keys. Welcome, Melanie. Would you give us an overview of 5 Keys and the partnership that you have established at Santa Rita?
Of course, thank you. We were awarded the educational contract back in 2016, and we are contracted to provide rehabilitation services classes inside Santa Rita Jail. We provide a holistic approach to education where we're really focusing in on the whole individual and not just elements that we would typically find in a school, like obtaining a high school diploma or a GED, which we do provide those services as well. We also have a component of our program, which is the career and technical education and life skills portion, where we offer several classes such as anger management, parenting, substance abuse, art for healing, healing and trauma, and gardening and meditation. So we really look at the whole person and try to address the barriers that might have brought them to the jail, and we really want to help them to change their lives.
So the reentry and support services is I am so happy that we have 5 Keys and Chabot College and all of our partners. When I first came on as a sergeant at the beginning or the end of last year, I met Mel for the first time, and I started learning about all the 5 Keys classes and programs they've had to offer. And when I came in, we were very aggressive on what we wanted to offer the female population, and Mel and her staff were all aboard. And so was Chabot College. Whatever you need, Sergeant Silva, whatever you and your team need. And to be able to share some of the survey results with Mel and Chabot College staff as well, saying this is what our females are asking for. And based off of what they asked for, I was so happy to go to Mel knowing she had partnerships with other community-based organizations to bring to us. So do you want to tell us how we came about Juilliard?
Yes, Juilliard is partnered with Project Music Heals Us, and they go to different facilities around the country, providing services, music services, not just classes to learn about music, but also to provide music to the different populations of people in incarcerated, in nursing homes, in schools. It's a wonderful program that really reaches a lot of people on these different levels of music.
And during class, it was amazing to see not only the Five Keys teachers get involved, but our deputies were able to get involved. Some of our students had some struggles learning about music notes or knowing where the keys were on the piano. And we were having deputies, teachers get involved to really assist and mentor some of these students to help them when the Juilliard instructors weren't present. So it was really amazing to see not only how our staff and the teachers and her staff were able to come together and really help these women succeed with not really feeling confident about how to write music notes, learning music notes, and composing their own music. And you could kind of tell with the teachers and our staff that they started coming out with their own personal experience saying, hey, we can help. And to see that happen in a classroom, I know that the students felt supported, not only by the sworn staff, but the civilian staff that work with these students on a daily basis, attending other classes. So to see them all come together and build that rapport and trust with our incarcerated population, it was just another amazing result of us partnering on the first project of the year, was Juilliard. And then when we started talking about the rest of the survey, one of the wants was the females wanted something regarding cosmetology. And I had nothing. I literally searched and how can we bring some type of cosmetology here for the female population and what could they be interested in? Can you tell us about Freedom Braiders?
And then we brought Freedom Braiders in collaboration with ACSO and Five Keys, and it was a great 6-week program where the women were able to learn skills on how to braid, also entrepreneurship, so that they can start their businesses when they re-enter into the community. And another component of that was the therapeutic piece, where they were able to process some of the things that they had experienced in their life, which was so powerful for the females or the women. They continue to talk about it to this day, and it's been months since that program actually ran. So the collaboration with Alameda County Sheriff's Office has been huge for us over the past 9 years, and more impactful in the last 9 months when Sergeant Silva and I began our work together, and the program for the women has just flourished over these past 9 months, and I couldn't be more grateful for the partnership and collaboration that we have, because things have just grown in so many ways that we had only dreamed of. So,
and again, even with the Freedom Braiders, I mean, with the command staff's blessing and the sheriff's vision of what she would like to see, to be able to have a mixed classification course again, and where we're having instructors, some with lived experience, come in. One of the instructors were formerly incarcerated at Santa Rita Jail, to allow them to come on base. You know, that is phenomenal to have our students see. These people have been incarcerated before, and they've been out and they've succeeded. They have their own business. They're a part of braiding competitions. They're making money. They're making a name for themselves. And watching the instructors share their stories and having sworn deputies support and staff, Five Keys staff, to support them on this journey of learning a new skill and being able to go out and say, I can make a business for myself, I can make a name for myself based off of the collaboration and what has been allowed to happen in the jail. And the vision of the command staff and our sheriff and our partners being able to work together and saying, we can make this happen, we will find a way to make it happen. So we also thought about all of the other things that the females were asking for and some of the things we, as partners, would like to offer females that they have shown interest in. We're currently talking about maybe by the beginning of next year, we can possibly offer them some type of trades training. You want to talk about a little bit about what that would look like for the female population?
Yes, we are talking about bringing in NCCER, which is similar to MC3, and we'll be bringing it to the jail for the women to participate in. We're also talking about bringing yoga back, as well as a coffee cart, which it would be a barista program where the participants would be able to learn barista skills and also be able to have those skills so that they can also obtain a job in the community as a barista. So we have a lot coming down.
We do, and again, with offering the ladies and the population everything they've asked for this year. I didn't bring up the first aid CPR class, but we have Alameda County Sheriff's Office employees that teach first aid and CPR. And instead of have a teacher teach it, I thought it would be phenomenal to have these women actually be taught by Sheriff's Office employees. So we brought them from the Regional Training Center. We brought them on base to get to know these women, and also put them through an 8-hour course of first aid and CPR and get them certified. And what did that mean for the women? That means that now when they leave, they have certification in CPR and first aid, and they have the skills necessary to not only save someone's life, but a family member, somebody else that they know on the outside. They now have the skill and certification and were taught by actual police officers. So to watch that 8-hour class and to watch our sworn really invest in teaching these women on how to save lives and how to provide first aid to babies, and some of them are mothers and have never had these skills before. And these women walked away saying, I have a 5-year-old at home, and now that I know this, I feel like a better mother. I could be a better mother because if my 5-year-old ever chokes, I know how to take care of it. If my mom, who I live with, ever has any type of accident or emergency, I feel like I have the skills to help her. And I think that builds confidence. And I think building the relationship with sworn and being trained by personnel that know, and that is their job, I think they earned a little respect for the deputies. And in turn, the deputies, based off of what the performance was in the class and how dedicated they were to learning and getting certified and passing that test, I think the deputies could see they were really trying to invest in themselves. And I think overall, that is what the Sheriff's Office wants. I think we want to help people, and we want them to know we're here to help you, and we do everything we can to build trust. So I am grateful that we have had so many partners help me and help the Sheriff's Office really, at the end of the day, provide our incarcerated population with what they need, what they want, and coming up with creative ideas from community-based organizations and partnerships to make sure that we can really deliver and be creative about what we can offer. And I really appreciate the sheriff, our command staff, and the Santa Rita Jail command staff for even entertaining the idea and allowing things that have never happened before happen. And I think we've shown it's been very successful, and our female population is extremely motivated, and they're very, very happy. And that's all that we can ask, is they feel like they're supported while they're in our custody, and we're providing them enough education and programs to keep them busy and healthy, and then provide them all the reentry support we can once they leave. So thank you, and that was a great question to ask.
And I thank you. It was a wonderful answer. I'm so proud that you guys have been able to be here with us today, and I'm sure our audience will be as well. Well, thank you, Melania. Thank you, Sergeant Silva. And I'd like to thank all our guests today, Commander McGrail, Sergeant Silva, Melanie Fukuhara. From everything we learned today, it sounds like the Alameda County Sheriff's Office and the Santa Rita Jail is making meaningful strides in helping individuals transition effectively. For more information about the Alameda County Sheriff's Department and their programs, you can go to alamedasheriff.org. I'm Dr. Marshall Kamena. Thank you for watching.